around. The central fountain is called the volcano. Water pours down its sides like lava, and choreographed jets shoot out from its crater. There's fire, and there's water. It shouldn't be possible, but it is. And here's the secret to its design. The water jets are aerated, which means they are a mixture of water and oxygen. That oxygen is just enough to keep the propane gas burning. We discovered that this amazing feature didn't appear in the original plans for the hotel.
When we were working on the final designs for the Burj Al Arab, it became obvious that the original idea we had for a roundabout with some palm trees was really not dramatic enough for the very significant statement architecturally that the Burj Al Arab represents.
In their search for the dramatic, the designers looked west to Wet Design, a Californian-based company responsible for the world-famous water features at the Bellagio and Mirage hotels in Las Vegas. But they went one step further in Dubai. The mixing of fire and water within this fountain is a world first. It took 12 months to design and 2 months to construct, with some slightly unorthodox techniques used to test out the concept along the way.
What really startles people is, and we proved this during our experimentation, that this mix of fire and water is such that you can thrust your arm right into the water and thus right into the fire, but the water, of course, is keeping it cool. We don't recommend this to the guests that visit the Burj, but we've done it ourselves here.
But the show doesn't end at the front entrance. A pyramid of water and light greets each visitor as they enter the lobby. The secret to the success of this design lies in perfect timing.
There are 42 arcing laminar jets of water in the cascade. These are almost laser-like rods of water from which all the turbulence has been removed. In fact, the flow of the water is so precise that they behave just like a fiber optic that's used in communication. Light will pass and stay confined within that fiber of water. So we put a light into the base of each of those streams, and it follows right the way across the arc, just glowing and adding color and illumination along the path.
As you climb up the escalator to the top of the pyramid, there's a final aqua surprise, the hypershooter. Every 30 minutes, a single jet of water shoots 12 stories into the air. That's nearly 100 feet high. But however close you get, you'll stay bone dry. It's another first for Wet Design, and the idea took everybody by surprise.
I think the architects looked at us like, you guys are a little bit crazy. You mean to not splash on our guests? And of course we said, no, we wouldn't do it if we splashed. We actually rented a blimp hangar, a leftover relic from the Second World War here in California, where it was the only place we could get that incredible height inside without the wind. And we tested and refined and modified that nozzle and the valving system that would eject that column of water. So you have this wonderful combination of the most precise expression of water on the planet and pure, raw, liquid energy.
The aquatic theme of the hotel doesn't end here. The spa is designed so guests can swim to the edge of the hotel and look out over the ocean. The concierge desks are designed in the shape of shells. But the pièce de résistance has to be the Al Mahara restaurant. It means under the sea. And here's how the restaurant lives up to its name.
Good evening. Welcome to the submarine. I'm Jackie, your captain this evening. I'm going to take you down 50 meters into the water and into the Al Mahara seafood restaurant. Please fasten your seatbelts. Sea's a bit rough today.
A 2-minute submarine ride takes you from the lobby to the restaurant entrance. Guess what? It's actually a high-tech simulator which takes guests to the restaurant at the bottom of the ocean. The illusion continues as guests disembark. They're dining under the sea after all. The secret? 3 huge aquariums holding over 40 species of fish, which get as close to the diners as their napkins. Our cameras were allowed behind the scenes to see just how the illusion is created. Above the restaurant, a team of marine biologists maintain the ecosystem for over 5,000 fish. The star attraction is Wally, the hump-headed wrasse from Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Weighing in at 55 pounds, we can reveal that getting him here was quite a challenge.
He was one of the hardest to bring into the aquarium, mainly because of his size and because of the distance travelled. They tend to live at depth, and therefore when they're caught, they have to be brought up slowly and gradually so there's no damage from pressure changes. And unlike the majority of fish here that we can transport in bags in oxygen, with a fish like Wally, he had to come with his own life support system. He was 30 hours in the air, and he arrived with a VIP escort through the airport.
The aquarium is also home to 2 sharks. This nurse shark is nicknamed Florence, after Florence Nightingale. They live in this 61,000-gallon aquarium packed with coral. But this is another feature that isn't quite what it seems.
The secret of the coral is that, in fact, it's not coral at all. It's an artificial moulding. The reason we've done such a heavy density of coral is to provide refuge for the smaller fish so that when they're feeling like a bit of peace and quiet, and when they don't want to be on display or they don't want to be in the company of larger fish, they can find a nook and cranny.
Before the restaurant opens, the fish have a slap-up meal of their own. Their food is prepared in their very own kitchen. We discovered that the fish eat nearly as well as the guests.
You may look at the shopping list and see that it's quite similar to what some of the guests may eat. You get a broad variety of fish, vegetables and other different food types. So for example, fish-wise you have prawns, mussels, squid, mackerel, and sometimes we often give Wally a lobster tail because he's a special fish. We like to look after him quite well.
Then it's time for the marine biologists to play waiter and chambermaid.
Everyone is a diver, and we all go in to make sure that the algae is cleaned off of the corals, to make sure that certain fish are fed. For example, the moray-eels live towards the bottom of the tank, so we go in there and we pinpoint feed them to make sure that they get fed every week.
The final job is to clean the tank, and then it's time to feed the guests. On the menu? Yes, fish. They prepare 2,000 meals a day here, and our cameras went back of house to the kitchens. Head chef John Woods let us in on the secret to providing a 7-star culinary treat.
If a guest wants something, we will search, wherever it may be, not only obviously in Dubai and UAE, but also throughout the whole world. If somebody says, I want Japanese strawberries, we get Japanese strawberries, we fly them in from Japan.
Fresh produce from around the world arrives every day.